Hey YouTube, this is the Phasian, and this is my very first deck profile, and I'm going to do it on Herald of Perfection. If you like it, subscribe. Alright, here it goes. Alright, first off to the deck is the key card, Herald of Perfection. And basically, you could discard one fairy type monster from your hand to the graveyard to negate a trap card, a spell card, or a monster effect. And this card's pretty broken in the deck, and of course pretty broken for this format. Alright, next we got two Archlord Christias. Third one, some people like to run 3, but I think 2 is perfectly fine. And he could be special summoned if you have exactly 4 fairy monsters in your graveyard. And he stops all special summonings, and he's pretty broken for the deck as well. Next, we got 3 Tethys, Goddess of Light. And this card is amazing, especially if you can get the effect going off. What he does is, if you draw a fairy monster, you can reveal it to your opponent and draw 1 extra card, and keep doing that until you don't draw a fairy. Really key to the deck. Next, we got a Dark Lord Desire. He can be tribute summoned for 1 monster. What he does is, you can have him lose 1,000 attack to send 1 monster to the graveyard once per turn. And he's basically like a Dark End Dragon. He's also pretty good. Next, we got 3 Manjus. And what these guys do is I could get a ritual spell or a ritual monster from my deck to my hand. Really key. And then we got 1 Manju, 1 Senju. And he could get 1 ritual monster. Pretty good too, just because he's fairy. Next, we got 3 Nova Summoners, and this card can get a 1500 attack or less to the special summon to the field when this is destroyed as a result of battle. And he's a lot better than Shining Angel because you could special summon him in defense mode, saving you some life points. Next, we got 2 Soul of Purity and Lights. This card could be special summoned by removing 2 light monsters from your graveyard. And he's really good because he's a 6-star and could be used as a ritual summon material for Herald. Next, we got 2 Honest, pretty self-explanatory for any type of light deck. Next, we got 1 D Alchemist. I'm not sure how I like this card. Some people like to run 2, but I'm personally thinking about just taking it out and maybe putting something else in. Next, we got 3 Herald of Orange Lights, and what he does is I could discard him and 1 other fairy type monster to negate an effect monster, and he's basically better than Effect Veiler in my opinion because he negates and destroys the monster on either player's turn, and he's a fairy and he's also a tuner, so it makes him pretty good. Next we have 2 Herald of Green Lights, basically the same thing as Herald of Orange Light, but he can negate a spell card by discarding a fairy in him, but he's not a tuner, so don't be fooled. Next we got Arcana Force 0, the Fool, and he's a stall card, great stall card. When he's normal summoned, you can flip a coin. Heads, he is unaffected by all spell traps and monster effects. Tails, he negates all your spells, traps, and monster effects that target him. He's pretty good for stalling because he can't be destroyed as a result of battle. Next, we have 1 Marshmallow, another fairy type monster. Just good stall card as well. Prefer to get gel and duos, but those are a little pricey. Next, we got 1 Freya. She has all fairy type monsters gain 400 extra attack, and as long as she's face up on the field and another fairy type is, she can't be targeted as an attack target, so she's also a good stall card. And that's all for the monsters. That's 29 monsters because of Tethys, so you want to try to minimize your spell and traps. Next we have 2 Dawn of the Heralds. 3 is decent, but I think it's too inconsistent with drawing with Tethys, and it's kind of a dead draw sometimes, so it's pretty easy to get 1 to your hand with Manjus. Next, we got 2 Book of Moons, and what Book of Moons do, everyone knows it's one of the most broken spell cards of this format, and it's good to have just as a defense because you don't really run backfield all that much. And then, of course, we have our staples: Monster Reborn, Dark Hole, self-explanatory. We run one Pot of Avarice because you go through a lot of your monsters pretty fast, so you just recycle them. And if you draw into a fairy while Tethys is out, you can show it to your opponent and of course draw some more. And then two cards that are make the deck really consistent are Pot of Dualities. I know they're pretty pricey, but if you could get your hands on one or two, I'd suggest running them because it makes the deck even more consistent. That's it for traps. For spells, that's 9 spells. And on to traps. We run 3 Royal Decrees because you hardly run any traps, and it's really good when you have this out in Herald, so you have one less thing to worry about. And then the last card is Solemn Judgment, and it's pretty self-explanatory, negating anything you want, basically. Well, that's it for Herald of Perfection. If you like it, again, subscribe. If you don't, it's whatever.